something needs to change here, because I kept getting that feedback consistently. I see something needs to change here, hence why I changed my training around, hence why I've moved obviously gyms and things like that. And, you know, if I see myself next year and think I'm not good enough, then I won't step on stage, because I want to step on stage and be like, first place is mine.
Yeah.
I don't want any, Sara Bradley, that's a little bit, I want to be like, what the fuck did she do?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want to step on stage other than that. And that is very much
Love
a
that.
firm.
Like undeniable, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I don't want anyone to be like, she could be second, I want to, she's first.
What is going on, people? Jumping in on this podcast to let you know about our incredible sponsors, Trained by JP, aka TBJP, the one-stop shop for all your bodybuilding needs. Whether you're looking for supplements or clothing, they have it all. Quite possibly the biggest range of subs you will find anywhere in the world, end of. Whether you're looking for pre-workouts, stim-free or high-stim, intra-workout shakes, post-workout creamer ices, vegan supplements, it is all there for you, as well as the highest grade of health subs that you will need in your arsenal. Check them out. It's www.tb-jp.com, and on there you will also find all the clothing which they release multiple times per year, but get your hands on them quick because they are limited drops. Use the discount code MAGIC10 for money off. Help the brother out, and let's get back to the podcast. Peace. Right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Beautiful Struggle podcast with myself, Jay Davis, aka Magic Eye. We are back in the studio on location. A very nice backdrop we've got here at the new shop at the TBJP X Shed Gym in Cheltenham. And I've got a special guest who was just going to be a guest, but now she's also a teammate. I first saw Sara on stage last year. I think that was the first time I saw her actually doing her thing up there in Spain, and it was something to see, 100%. Took some images of her, and I remember, first of all, Sara Bradley's on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Before I ramble on, there's a monster down here, so that's why. I remember sending you images on the plane after the show.
Yeah,
and obviously I was looking at you next to me, like sitting across, and I was like looking at the pictures, and I was looking at you across the way, and I was like, that look on stage was ridiculous, because I mean, your name, Small But Mighty, you are a little bit small,
absolutely,
but then looking at the pictures as well, as you're on stage, I was like, this is the same person. It was mad to see the difference. But I
think even like when I did my pro debut at Legions, the you know, we get like a little packet with like hoodies and stuff in. Yeah. And one of them, I picked up my hoodie, and the promoter at the time was like, might need a size smaller, love. So, all right then. And I ended up placing second. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay.
And that's it. You are like, you are the female giant killer.
Yeah.
You are the
like
female
that.
giant killer.
I'll go with that. Yeah. I think it's so much better to be that person that no one expects.
Yes.
Like you rock up in a hoodie and you think, and then you get on stage and they're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's so much better to be that dark horse.
I think that takes it back to like how bodybuilding used to be. You know, when before social media,
absolutely, and
people didn't used to see everyone until it was show day.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of that impression that you give, because when they see you and then when you see you on stage, and that's kind of what I was getting into there, is like, even though I've seen you on stage and I've seen you in person and stuff, the difference and how you look on stage is just the illusion is nuts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Is nuts. But we kind of hovered over a topic there at the start, which we were going to start with. But I just want to first of all congratulate Sara. She is the newest TBJP athlete.
Yeah.
This is the official announcement, so I'll let you do your thing.
So obviously I followed JP and Corin for a long old time, way back when they even had that other gym, or were training at the other gym literally across the road. Yeah. And again, like I said, I've been back and forth with them for years and years. So you could say it's maybe a long time coming. And obviously mentioned that I'd come and train at the shed full time. And literally that evening, I got the offer to be part of the team, and I couldn't say no. It's something that I've been envisioning for a long time, and obviously we sponsors come and go and things like that, and I'm a very firm believer that once one door closes, another opens, and that door was to become part of Trained by JP and to be a part of such an established brand with very like-minded individuals. it's just an honour to be a part of this brand and grow with it, and be looked after like a professional athlete should be looked after. So it's really nice. And I'm not someone that I do this because I love it, and I just want to be around an environment with people where they've got the same mindset. Because again, if you've listened to me on podcasts before or wherever, I'm a huge advocate of environment, and being in an environment around other Olympians, other pros, and to be on the same team as like-minded individuals, it's only going to push your progression much further because you're around 100%. That environment. So it's honestly, I think, a massive step in the direction and one step closer to the Olympia being supported by a brand that I know is going to get me there. So really, really excited to be a part of the Trained by JP
That's
team.
big talk there, dropping the Olympia bomb straight in. That's what you need, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And like you said, you are definitely in the right place now to take those leaps. Absolutely. Which they are going to be leaps forward, because I've seen the progression of you over the last, before I knew you and since I've known you as well from afar. It's crazy to see. So thank you to both Jordan and Corin on behalf of myself as well. I am also on the team as well. So we're going to be shooting some content in the gym after this for the new clothing range, which you'll see draped behind me here, behind Sara.
Yeah.
So that will be available soon. We haven't had an official date, but it's going to be around about end of July. Yeah. I think before August kicks in this. So so you've recently moved up here to train, because you were training somewhere else previously, right?
Yeah, so I had a previous gym that was a little bit closer to where I was, and then I kind of came over here and was training alongside James and things like that, and I just knew that I needed to flick that switch. That's really why I made that main move, is because obviously the kit is unmatched here, and I find, like, especially with areas of improvement like my back and things, I have to have such a specific thing that I do to get that back to grow, because I have a really poor activation really in my posterior. So finding kit that I can really get along with and really feel my back working was something that I found here, and other sort of machines and other gyms just didn't work for me. I know it sounds really silly because a machine is a machine and a dumbbell is a dumbbell, but like for me, I'm very, very specific with how I train and how I do things. So like coming to a gym where you're surrounded by like Olympians and pros and being able to use kit that is just that level up, and obviously the shed is constantly improving. We're always getting new kit in, or just sort of switching things around, and that is really nice as well, because you get to be like, okay, so this machine works better for me, that one doesn't so much. So moving here full time was again another level that I needed to make sure that I was hitting everything that I needed to hit in a really efficient manner, and just being here with that kit is the way that I want to do things. So being here full time is
I was shooting yesterday up a gym about 25 minutes from here. And a lot of the pieces that the guys originally had in the gym have been put there. So it's like, I've seen how Jordan and James get kit in, have a play with it. No, it's not working. They'll ship it out and they'll get another brand in until they find the right one. Exactly. So yes, I mean it's hard, because if someone's watching this and thinking, gym's a gym. It's different in there. Like it's different, and even for me, like, I'm obviously filming everyone and I'm surrounded by everyone, but even when I come up here for a session, I just get that little, there's a little bit of spice on my session in there. So I'm a little bit jealous that I don't live close enough to train there regularly. It is cool to obviously pop up and have the sessions, but have you noticed, like, I'm not saying that you didn't have fire in your belly before, but have you noticed a bit more since you've been up here?
Yeah, like there was a point in like a few months ago where I was just kind of not, for me to not enjoy training is a massive red flag, and I think things were just getting a bit stagnant, the environment was just a bit like, you know what I mean? So to come here, and I had that first session, I was like, actually I'm going to fall back in love with training here. And obviously without training, like my mental health declines, and I did go through a bit of a rough patch. So to come here and be like, I'm here again, like I feel like myself now, and I feel good. And like every session I've had here is just been so good. I feel like it's been a very productive session, and when you come up being like, actually I did what I needed to achieve in that session, and it's been exactly how it has been.
And that's how it should be, really.
Exactly,
especially at your level now, with obviously the goals that you've got in mind, which you've just said. How long have you actually been training then? Like,
just in general, or
in general, since like not even before like the bodybuilding days. What did you do? Like,
I've always been really sporty. Like the minute I could run, I was doing sports essentially. Like I was very football orientated when I grew up. Very athletics. I did a lot of athletics for a while. And then I moved into rugby for a little bit. I was going to go down the Bath rugby route, but unfortunately at that time my mum passed away, so my dad was like a single parent, so we had to kind of just step back and do things within the realm where dad could drive me and things. So I moved back into football then, and then stayed in football all the way through university, and then I hit like my powerlifting time where I did powerlifting for a couple of years, which was really, really fun. I loved it. But you quickly come to know that with powerlifting, you get injured very, very quickly because it's the same kind of I was doing like squats 4 times a week alongside bench and deadlifts and things. And after that, I was like, you know what, like I love doing the hypertrophy stuff alongside the powerlifting side of things. So I was like, maybe I should, because I've always been in the gym. I've always been like, even since I was like 11 or 12, I've been in the gym just mucking around and things. And from there, like I got more kind of progress from doing the hypertrophy side of things because it's ingrained. Like I've said on a lot of podcasts, my mum was a bodybuilder, so it's kind of like.
Oh really? I didn't know this. Yeah,
so she bodybuilded for a long old time because her ex-boyfriend was a bodybuilder, and they kind of trained together before she met my dad.
Yeah.
So you know, genetically, I'm sort of gifted in that regard. And yeah, from there I kind of just did the powerlifting, did really well in that, got like a couple world records and things, and then
just a couple of world records and things.
But I was much lighter then. I think I was like maybe just below 60 kilos.
Really,
I'm sat just under 80 now, so it's kind of like, but that was like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years ago, maybe even longer actually. So yeah, so that was a long time ago, and then I just thought, actually, you know what, I want to take bodybuilding a little bit more seriously. Then in comes Mr. Ħaymes, and then obviously he just directed me towards.
So that's been for a few years then with Tom?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been with Tom 9 years now.
With the same coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
God damn, that's unheard of.
Yeah, I think it's 9 or 10 years now. Yeah, about the same time I've been with my missus, so probably a year before, so probably about 10 years now. I've been with my missus 9 years, so.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we're basically, me and Tom are basically a married couple now.
Basically, yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah, I won't go anywhere either. I'll be with Tom for my career, and I'm certain like that. I always envisioned like, you know, that Flex Lewis, Neil Hill, where they've been together since the very beginning. That's what I want with Tom. And he's not only been a coach, but he's my mentor. He's also someone that I can rely on when it comes to life things. People have probably heard this story before, but I wanted to ask my other half to marry me, and we went out to Cheltenham just for some lunch, me and Tom. I said, I'm in an iron whether to buy this ring, Tom. I don't know. Right, get up, we're going to buy this ring. I was like, I don't know, Tom, I just don't know. And he was like, right, that's the ring you're buying. Do you like it? And I was like, yeah, it's really nice. I was like, right, we'll have that ring, you're paying for it, and then you're going to ask her to marry you. And I asked my missus to marry me. Without Tom there, like he's guided me in so many life events. Obviously I wanted to marry my missus, but like, it's just things that he's like, you're doing this. And same with my coaching, he was like, you need to move away from full-time employment. You're doing coaching, be under me, and then we'll work together and get you like a good business behind you. And it's just things like that. He's not only a coach, but he has guided me in many aspects of my life.
That's sick. That's a cool story, though.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm a very firm advocate that people should be with a coach for a long time. Yes, there are variables that come into it that are like, okay, maybe some disagreements, X, Y, and Z. And if you don't vibe with a coach, then that is fine. Like, to be able to be like, okay, we don't work together, then we're just going to have to move on, which is fine. But the longer you're with a coach, like Tom knows my body better than anyone. He knows my body, my mentality better than anyone. So if he says, Sara, I want you to do 10K steps, I'm going to be probably doing 14. Do you know what I mean? That's minimum. Like, if you hold my beer, honey, I'm going to get, do you know what I mean? So, and he knows that. He knows exactly how I work. He knows exactly what I want to be doing. And I think that's been ingrained over the 9 years, 10 years that we've been together. And I think that now is very, very special because he knows exactly how I work. Whereas if you're bouncing from coach to coach, they don't know how you're going to respond to X, Y, and Z. They don't know how you're going to respond to this training stimulus. And I think, you know, I've got a combination of, I'm working obviously alongside Callum as well. So Callum's doing my training, Tom will be doing my nutrition. So essentially I'm just basically sort of picking up all the stones for the...
You're just taking the top guys.
Yeah, I'm so selfish. I'm just like, I have a bit of him as well.
Carl, Tom, TBJP, you know.
Yeah. So, and I think, you know, having someone that's known me for a long time and then Callum's input as well. You know, it's just, I'm just collecting those stones like Thanos' glove, do you know what I mean? So,
collecting stones, I love it.
So I think it's just, you know, being with him for a long time, going through really loads of life things as well. Obviously I am godmother to his son too.
Oh really, yeah?
Yeah, so it's kind of like...
You are proper tight.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we've had our disagreements, don't get me wrong, but it's again another really important part of a coaching relationship to be like, Tom, we need to fix this. Like, I remember, and I'm sure he won't mind me speaking of this, when we had the run up to Legions, it was a really tough prep because there was a lot going on with him, a lot going on with me, and in the end we're like, that's not going to happen again. So we did X, Y, and Z, went out for dinner, said this went wrong, I'm not happy about this, he's not happy about this, let's fix it. And and that's really important to have that relationship, because how is a coach supposed to know what's going on if you don't communicate with them? And it's something that I have with a lot of my clients is, if you don't tell me that you don't like that movement, or this doesn't work, or you're getting digestive issues, I can't fix it. So being communicated with a coach is really, really important, and that is something that me and Tom are very, very up on. And even with Callum now as well, Callum and I talk all the time, got a little like group chat and stuff, like little old biddies, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have the support of Tom, and
it's good. It's good. You've got a good like support network. I hate it. I hate that. It's so cliche because everyone's going on about it now, but you have definitely got.
Absolutely, and it's one that's been refined over many, many years. People come and go, and again, I speak a lot about, having the people, whether I have 3 friends, they're 3 very, very important people that are going to get me to where I need to.
Yeah.
And now having Callum trained by JP and Tom, I can't really go wrong. They're going to push me to where I need to be.
It's like the perfect storm.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So I'm very, very lucky in that regards. Very, very lucky.
I'm not going to take that away from you, because it's not luck.
Yeah.
It's not luck. You've made those choices to put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
To have Tom, Cal, and obviously work hard enough that TBJP have noticed you to take you on board. So it's not luck.
Yeah, that's
not luck. And I think Jordan would agree with me. He hates the word luck.
Yeah.
You've put yourself in that position. I think it's always, there is a saying about it where, luck is just like hard work meeting opportunity. And that's that's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, sick. How does, I'm going to ask the question, I spoke to you in person about it, but just for everyone else, because they're going to be asking it as well.
Yeah.
How does Tom feel about Cal being involved with your training?
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I obviously approached Tom and was like, look, I think, because obviously I previously worked with 𝘗𝘱𝘰𝘨𝘏, which everyone would have seen on my YouTube.
Yeah.
And we worked with, fixing those imbalances, and I felt we'd done our job. So I thought moving on to something else maybe a little bit more beneficial for me. And Callum's style of training is something I've never done before. It's very low volume, which obviously everyone who's followed me before will be like, Sara's very anti-low volume, which I was. But now trying something new has really opened my eyes up to a different style of training, and we're seeing really good sort of benefits from it already. But yeah, obviously I approached Tom and was like, I think I want to work with Callum, because he said it before. He said, what about Callum? And at the time I was like, I want to try things with 𝘗𝘱𝘴 first and go from there. And yeah, he was all up for it, because obviously him and Callum are really close as well. Yeah. So yeah, he was absolutely for it. So yeah, it's really nice to have because obviously Callum and Tom are very similar in some certain approaches to coaching itself. So he was like, do that training, I'll do the nutrition, we'll just work together, see what happens, and then it just happened.
I guess because they've already got that existing friendship between the both of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I'm sure if it was someone completely different to Callum in the mix, then it might be not that it would have been any more difficult for Tom to deal with, but just that 3-way conversation.
Absolutely.
9 years.
Yeah.
Blow my mind.
Time.
It's blown my mind.
Yeah.
I think that's just down to the relationship, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because coaching is like coaching. It's like it's not too much difference between this guy to the next guy.
Yeah.
You just see the relationship. Once you've got a good relationship, like me with Cal, it's like 3 years now.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Not compared to 9. When you say 3 years is a long time. Because people are just doing 6 months blasts with people, and they're in and out, they're swapping coaches, so yeah, it's very cool.
Like I said, he's seen every side of me that a coach could see. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was there when my dad got diagnosed with cancer, he was there when things happened, he was there when I had to move out of my house and move my dad around. Like, he's seen every side of me that I wouldn't let anyone else see. So he's seen me cry, he's seen me happy, he's seen me, every side of me he's seen. Because I remember at Alicante, going backstage after prejudging and just feeling like I'm not someone that's really like, I'm gonna win the show. Obviously we want to win, but I'm not a cocky characteristic, because I just love what I do. And I went backstage with Alicante and thought, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like, I thought I had that show in the bag, and I thought, you know what, like I'm at my tether here, and I need to go away and I need to grow now. And Tom just saw me, and I never normally go backstage and like cry about something, but that was the first time I was like, I'm pissed about this. I'm pissed about this. And he saw that and he was like, you know what, that's fine that you're feeling this. Give it some time, give it some breathing space, and we'll talk about it later. And he just knows to be like, just leave her alone for a bit, and then she'll come around. And then that evening we went for some nice food and just had a chat about what we wanted to do going forward. So having a coach that has seen every side of you and you have that communicative response and you have that relationship, I'm very, very lucky, because I don't think many people have that with coaches nowadays. What I mean? So, and he's literally only down the road as well. So being able to, during prep, when I just need a little bit of something, I'll be like, Tom, what are you doing today? Do you want to go for coffee? Then we'll go have coffee. He can see me. And then that's normally my little bump to the next stage when I see him. So that's also really, really nice. And I think a lot of people would agree with seeing a coach during prep just gives you that little bit more. Like I'll see a client tomorrow, do a session with her and just see how she's looking. And that'll be her kind of push for the next stage.
It does go a long way, doesn't it? It goes
absolutely,
just spurs you on for another 3-4 weeks or whatever until you hit that wall again.
But long old time. But
cool.
We'll go to the O together, and my long-term plan is to win it eventually, and I'd love to be that person to take Tom's name to the top. So
well, if anyone's watching this and they're a coach hopper, please take notes. Take notes. Write that down, as Cooper said. How old are you now?
27.
Okay. And you started like bodybuilding kind of what age when you kind of started switching on to bodybuilding? So
my first show, I want to say like 2019 was my first show.
It's like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. So, longer than that, wouldn't it be? From
2024 now.
20, yeah. Oh, no, yes, you're correct, yeah.
Good maths.
Yeah. And that was, I started in trained figure.
Yeah.
But I just, I always had this vision of being physique, because I saw Dana Lynn Bailey and I was like, I'm obsessed with her. And then
she was like popping at that time as well.
Amazing. And I liked her because she was different. Like she wasn't, and obviously each their own, but I'm not a booty short girl. I don't really wear crop tops. It's not really been my thing. I've never been that way. And seeing Dana Lynn Bailey, who was more of a tomboyish kind of
she had a cool look.
Absolutely. And that's something I really envisioned, because obviously I grew up partially with a mother figure, and then I lost my mother, so I didn't have that figure. So having Dana Lynn Bailey there, and I was like, I actually really want to look like that. I think that's badass. So I always had physique in my mind, but I had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So trained figures where I started, and also didn't want to wear heels because I'm awful in heels, so I binned them off. Had a 2-year off season, obviously COVID hit, and then I extended that off season slightly, and then I came back into physique in 2021, and that's why I won my pro card.
Well, that first run?
Yes. No, second. So if we're counting the first year when I did trained figures, that was 2 shows, and then I had that off season, and then I went into IFBB or NPC, and that's when I won my pro card. Yeah. How
many shows in that year?
So what, the pro card year? I did La Familia, then British, then turned pro at the British.
So 4 shows?
Yeah.
God.
When you say it like that, it's a little bit crazy, isn't it?
But, it's crazy. Yeah. Obviously, the time in between is technically 4 years, I guess. Is it between the first season, then 2 years off, then another season?
Yeah.
So 4 years, but 4 shows. But it's like you knew what you wanted. It's from, I'm obviously speaking just off the top. You knew what you wanted, so you had a plan in place, and it was like, right, I want to do this, so this is what I'm going to do to get there.
Absolutely.
Rather than just spinning your wheels and competing every couple of months, jumping back into prep or whatever. So
I think as a woman as well, I think, and even to some extent some males as well, like obviously as a pro it's slightly different too, but I think you need to understand timescales. Like I wouldn't have made, like for example, I'm taking a year out now because I don't think I can make that improvement in 3 to 6 months. I just don't think that's doable. The improvements that I need to make to be even more competitive next year.
Yeah.
And it was the same between the first show to the NPC run or the IFBB run as well, was I needed that time to grow because I was a tiny, teeny trained figure girl. I was just tiny, teeny, and I knew that I needed to be bigger for physique, and we put on a good amount of tissue in that time. Can't remember off the top of my head how much, but I think I was like 50 kilos on stage as a trained figure girl, and then I got to like maybe 57, 58 when I got back on stage as in physique.
Yeah.
And you need to have time off because it's all well and good wanting to compete religiously, but it's just not doable if you want to make those drastic improvements. So it's just being aware of your timelines as well.
Yeah.
I think we very much nailed those timelines when it comes to excessive improvement, you know what I mean? So
Sounds like it. It's just like, and obviously because you've done it, this year out that you're taking now, it's just like, right, we'll just do that again.
Absolutely.
Just do that again. And obviously you've made changes to put you in better places to cure.
Yeah.
That is going to be a dead cert. I'm going to reset this camera.
Yeah.
We'll keep it rolling. I was going to touch on something. One sec. That's back in. Obviously, feel free to talk about this as much as you want. from when you've been talking, it sounds like you've been through some stuff between your mum and dad and that.
Yeah.
It's a common thing in bodybuilding is that when people have had things go on in their personal lives, they turn to bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. Would you say, like, again, talk as much as you want into those things, but would you say those things have kind of paved your way through bodybuilding, or do you still kind of pull on those things to kind of get you through stuff?
Yeah, so, I mean, like, I wouldn't be where I am today if things hadn't happened. Yeah. And, you know, like, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. And I think, you know, as horrible as it is, it's just something that life has given you. Mm-hmm. And it's something I spent years being, you know, sort of in counselling and mental health hospitals and things like that. And it was something that, you know, my counsellor saved my life. And I think I became a very aggressive kind of young female because I was angry at what was going on and things like that. And not knowing how to understand my emotions as well. Because you think, you know, this happened, but is she going to come back through that door again? Do you know what I mean? When realistically, she's not. It's done. What's happened has happened. And I think it's really hard to accept that. But now, once you accept, this is really morbid, once you accept death, it you know, it is what it is. And being able to understand emotions and being able to switch on when you need to, like for the gym, right? So, you know, when stress is high, when I just need that release, switch on. Like in a lot of my videos, like I'm laughing between sets because I love being in the gym, but when I need to switch it on, I'll switch it on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and yeah, I do think what's happened previously has paved me to be who I am today. And the gym and the counselling that I got when I was younger, and I know everyone's like, the gym saved me, but it really did with me. And it, you know, even yesterday when I had a bit of a hard day, like come to the gym, breathe, but now it's time to fucking go because no one else talked to me. I need this. And then after I felt so much better. And it's just that release, isn't it? And because I don't really know, and it's always been through sports. Like I've always had the release through sports, but coming in and just clanging some weight is just the best release ever. I mean, you could explain it to anyone. If they don't get the gym, then that's fine. But who get it, they get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You talk to like a regular person about this stuff and they're going to go like, oh, what the fuck? Well, you go to the gym.
Yeah, innit?
And you take selfies or whatever. But no, and that's the problem is that the stigma of gym culture, unfortunately, through social media and that, is that it is a vanity thing. But for you, and definitely for me as well, it's been a mental thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's deep. That's deep.
I think as well, like another reason, you know, I am who I am today is prep. Prep has taught me a lot about how far I can push myself mentally and physically, and you know, having that distraction, having something I can commit myself to 100% is something that, you know, I love. That's why I love prep. That's why I love bodybuilding. Yeah. And I say that to everyone that goes through prep or whatever. I say you'll learn a lot about yourself just by how far you. I mean, you know how far you can push yourself mentally. You will open doors that you didn't even know you could go through. And that's why I love prep, because you think, oh, I can only go this far, but actually I can go much further. And that's something that I've really learned from bodybuilding is my ability to apply myself in other areas. It also opens up your eyes to perspective. You know what I mean? Like during prep, actually missing time going out and having food. It's not just going out for food anymore, is it? It's a really nice evening.
It's a big deal now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just little things to be, you know, really appreciative of before you might be like, meh, just going out to cinema or food. But whereas now it's like, no, we need to book a holiday or we need to do this, we need to do it because we need time together, we need to be present. And that's what I say to a lot of people is... Yeah,
just be grateful for and like show gratitude to obviously the people around you as well. Exactly. That you're taking time away from when you've got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. And like, you know, yes... You know, in women's physique, or I mean, this isn't well, it might be sexist, but obviously we didn't really get much prize money. I mean, like for Legions, I came second and I got £800, which is one flight to the States. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a lot, is it?
I forgot what I was going to go with that. Yep, completely forgot.
Sorry,
we'll come back to it.
No, we come back to it. But yeah, like prize money, you know, with the women's physique, it's not as well known. But I think in the UK, how many like WPD girls are there, like pros?
So there's me, Romana, Carly, Jo Kelly is one as well, but I don't know whether she's going to come back round and compete. So I think really there's like, and obviously Alex as well, she's a women's physique pro, but I don't know whether, I know Romana's very much on the scene and so is Carly. But the others, not so much. I think there may be like between sort of 3 and 6 of us in the UK.
See, it's not a lot really, is it, when you think about it?
No, it's really nothing. And what I was actually going to say is, and that was come back round.
See, that's what I was doing.
Was, again, that perspective and appreciation is, as a 27-year-old, I'm in the position to travel the world to bodybuild. And that, for me, I can't really, you know, any other 27-year-old maybe in an office job or something like that. And I say, prep is hard, and again, we don't get loads of money for it, but I don't do it for the money. I do it because I can travel. I can do what I love as a job. Someone messaged me the other day and was like, why are you doing it? And I was like, because I love it. And she was like, yeah, but you get nothing out of it in regards to money. And I was like, I don't care. Money is never, ever something that drives me forward. For some people, it's very much a motivational driver. But for me, as long as I have some money in the bank to pay for bodybuilding, then I'm okay. You know what I mean? I just love bodybuilding. I love being an online coach. I love seeing people progress physically and mentally. And, that's why I think that's what prep has taught me, is to be very appreciative of the people that are around you and perspective. So, But I mean, women's physique, unfortunately, it's one of those things that is a dying breed, but all we can do is promote it as much as possible. And I do ultimately think, and I'm sure we've spoken about this, is the rise of bikini and men's physique. I do think it's very much pushing the bigger women categories out because it's not socially acceptable or socially normal to be a bigger girl. But all we can do is try and promote it as much as possible, speak openly about things. I don't think there's enough openness about drug use in this sport. I don't think there's enough openness about other variables that need to be taken into account. So for me, that's something that I want to change, is just being very open about drug use, what I'm doing, that kind of thing, because then it puts into perspective about what we need to do to achieve to where we need to be. But I do think maybe other categories, because of the rise of them, that's why women's physique and things are maybe dying out ever so slightly. But again, what we can do is just push it as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Like on the subject of like the drug use and things like that.
Yeah.
What's your like interaction like on social media with stuff that you put out there? Do you get any like online kind of trolling and stuff? I've had guests before where they've kind of been hammered. Do you get any of that on social media in terms of like general pop scene?
Yeah, sometimes like I'll get the casual like, why is that man wearing a bra? Like that's quite a common one. Do you know what I mean? Like and she looks like a guy, blah blah blah. But for me, like normally I get quite a lot of positivity out of it because no one else is talking about it.
Okay.
So, like, for me to put up, okay, I'm on 150 mgs of Primo this week, people are like, oh shit, like, she's actually talking about her drugs. Whereas, if you ask any other women...
people are actually, like, crediting...
It's very positive, which is really nice. Like, and you look at any other women's physique competitor, they're not talking about it. Do you know what I mean? So, and, like, I'd much rather people know and be understanding and, know what I'm going through and see and have a positive response from it. Yes, you'll have obviously the few trolls here and there, but you'll get that with anything. You get that with anything, right? So it happens, but delete,
not too
block,
much.
Wash, that's done.
You don't focus on it. It doesn't really ruin your day, kind of thing.
Yeah, like I've never really had any like direct messages. Maybe one or two.
Yeah,
it's normally like some comments, like just some old guy like putting a vomit emoji, like "Sorry, Steve, I'm not sexy enough for you." Do you know what I mean? Like,
fuck you, Steve.
Innit? Like, but that person has come to my page, looked through my page, and scrolled. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people say any publicity is good publicity, right?
Yes,
so you've gone out of your way to look at my page. Yeah. You've gone that way, mate. Like, I didn't force you to be on my page. You've looked at my photos, so really...
You didn't have to look at it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you don't like what you see, then go away. Like, So, but like I said, like, just delete, block out of my mind. I don't need that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's good that you're talking about it, though, and you're being really open about it. Have you got anything in mind, plans going forward for, like, what you want to do with WPD? You've got anything, like, to kind of make it more known, apart from just, obviously, continuing to kill it on the competitive circuit?
Thank you. Yeah, just... What I would eventually like to do is be a sponsor of a show or be a promoter of a show where women, like a bit like, like Wings of Strength, like the ladies that run that. And obviously they've got a new show as well. It's called the Trinity Show or something like that.
Did one of them put like their own money up for the prize money?
So Sarah, Texas, which is what I did last year, she puts all her money in herself. And that's got the biggest prize fund, I believe, for women's physique outside of the O. So something like that I would love to do is just to try and give back to obviously women's physique, try and promote it more. That would be like a long-term thing, but just talking about it, just trying to promote it, trying to show that women's physique is a beautiful class. Like it is literally men's classic in a female form, in my opinion, because you still get the routine, you still get like a show. Whereas like figure, we love figure, but you just do quarter turns. You don't have a routine. Whereas with like women's physique, you still get a very like a show.
There's a bit more going on in the category.
There's a bit more going on, yeah. So I think that alone should bring women's physique forward.
Yeah.
But again, it's just about talking about it, promoting it, hopefully putting my own money into a show later down the line. That's what I would like. I'd like to be essentially like Sarah, just a really nice ambassador for the sport, putting my money in it where I can, and just trying to promote it all around the world. That's what I would love to do.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Good goals, that. I was going to say something. It was in my head.
See,
I'm doing what you're doing now. Just go rambling to get it going again.
Yeah.
competitive nature. So have you always, like, obviously you said you've had time in other sports coming through. I can tell when you're talking about it, like, there is definitely this, like, competitive nature in you.
Yeah.
Has that always been there, or is it something that's kind of like come...
It's always been there.
Always been there, even when you were like... playing,
absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said your mum was a bodybuilder. Is that just on the amateur level?
Yeah, so just on an amateur level, obviously she got to a point where she was going to be competitive, but then she had me and my sister.
Yeah.
So that's obviously seeing her develop and stuff when she met my dad and things like that was something that I really love to see. Like her like weight belt. My mum had notoriously tiny little waist and like she had really small hands and things. My mum was like 4 foot something. She was
really,
like a teeny tiny lady. Like like her wedding ring won't even fits around my pinky. That's how small she was. So like for someone to be like as big as she was and with this waist that she had, I think that's obviously where I get my genetics from, is just from obviously handing down from me. So and my sister, she's very broad. She's quite a strong girl as well. Like she was in rugby for a long time, so you can see that she's got a base from my mother as well. And my dad, funnily enough, was a cross country runner. So he was very leggy. He was quite tall and stuff like that. Obviously, as he's got older, like he's gotten shorter. But like, you know, he was very fit as a young'un, and so it's kind of like two worlds collide, and then pop out me and my sister, and
it's just like in you, isn't it? When
Absolutely.
you've got like an athletic background and then obviously the bodybuilding background. Small but mighty. The name Small but Mighty. Yeah. Where did that originally come from?
No, I don't really know. So I
cool.
just kind of
cool
came
name,
up with it. I think my sister said you should do Small but Mighty.
Yeah.
And obviously because I'm only 5'3", and I thought, you know what, it's quite impactful. Let's just go with Small but Mighty.
Yeah.
And see how it does. And everyone seems to know me by Small but Mighty now, which is really cool. It's like a brand.
I just said to the girl to the gym, forgive me if you're watching this because I'm not sure on your name.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm doing a podcast. She was like, who's he with? I'm like, Sarah's coming down to do it and stuff. And I could see her thinking, she's like, she's like, Small but Mighty, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Small but Mighty, Sarah.
I was like, Small but Mighty, and I'm like,
Small but Mighty,
yeah.
That's cool.
So, and it's just stayed.
Stuck, isn't it?
Stayed. Yeah, because I remember when I joined, obviously, Tom as a coach.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to change your name on Instagram to Sara Team Evolution. I was like, absolutely not. That's not going to happen. Because Small but Mighty is now known. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to change that. And he was like, you know what, fair play. You know, so, and even if you type in Small but Mighty into Instagram, the first thing that typically pops up. So for that traction as well with that name, you know, it's just something that's grown and grown, and I hope to take that forward as a brand as well. So
I was going to say that's there for the taking.
Absolutely.
That is there for the taking.
Yeah.
What does your sister do?
So my sister, obviously, she did rugby for a long time, and now she's just like a gym goer, staying nice and fit and stuff. She works in. I should know what she works in, but she does like HR stuff, and she does like. She recruits people. She works in recruitment. That's what she does. And me and her are very, very close. Yeah. Have been, obviously, she became like a mother figure when Mum passed away. And, you know, we've never really... She's a very businesswoman. She knows what exactly she wants. Don't you? Like, so she will get to where she needs to get to. Okay. Doesn't matter who's in her way. But that's why she's been so successful, is because she will bite your head off if you get in her way, which is just very, very similar with me. But I'm just a bit more... You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a bit like, just excuse me out the way. Like, I'll get there, but just, So, but again, she's been a role model in my life as well. And
Does she kind of follow along and come to the shows and stuff like that as well?
So
is she like fully involved?
She's followed along right from the beginning. Obviously, being overseas, it's a little bit more of a struggle for family to come and watch. But every amateur show that she's been able to be at, she's been at, which is really nice. So, cool. Really, really good. Because I understand that, like, my dad, bless him, he's like, okay, it's a little bit weird seeing my daughter on stage in a bikini, like that's a bit strange, but he'll stand back and he'll try and support me where he needs to. Like, maybe finds it a little bit awkward, but he'll be like, if you need any help, like, just ask, you know what I mean? So he's been very supportive.
He's fully on board with it all.
Absolutely. I think it's harder when you say I'm a professional bodybuilder compared to a professional football player, because people are like, professional bodybuilder, like, what does that mean? Whereas if you're a professional football player, like, that's cool. But like, exactly, because I think my dad said to me once, he was like, why don't you just go back and play football? And I was like, Dad, like, I'm 20 kilos heavier and I'm not suitable for football anymore. Like, but he's, you know, like, my dad and my sister are super into cars. I'm not really into cars.
Oh, okay.
So like, the way I see it is, I won't force them. I'm not upset if they don't come and watch, you know what I mean? It's because it's just how it is, and I wouldn't force them into seeing it. They support me from afar, that's fine. Whereas with him, I wouldn't really expect him to be like, come to this car show, because it's just not how I'm not interested. Yeah. I'll go and support them, but for me, like, you know, it's the same kind of both ways. If he doesn't want to come to a bodybuilding show, it's okay. Like, I know he supports me. And also my dad has dialysis as well, so he has dialysis like 3 times a week because of his cancer in his kidneys, so he can't travel. So, when he can support me, he can, and he supports me in his own way. But with traveling and stuff, it's just not doable. So, I'm very, very blessed to have a very supportive family. Because, like I said, bodybuilding is very strange, really. So, really, really blessed.
You hear so many stories of like families kind of just separating when people take this route just because they don't support it, and then obviously we can be so like gung-ho about it. They don't, there's falling outs, and you don't. Yeah. So it's good that you've got that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the first prep I did, and I think really with any prep, when you get to that point where you're like skeleton face and stuff, like my face comes in really quite badly, and I think that's when people are like, oh, are you okay? Are you healthy? Yeah. And I remember like the first prep, and he was like, so are you eating anything? And I was like, yeah. And it was just like, you're so skinny. So so I think it's just that. And when he hasn't seen me, say I see him like when I'm 8 weeks out, and then see him when I'm 4 weeks out, that change will blow him back a bit. But he just knows that I'm doing it correctly. I'm doing it with the support of others. I'm being as healthy as I can. Because let's be honest, I get my blood work done at least 3-4 times a year. Do you know what I mean? So being aware of what's going on internally is very, very important. And he knows that I get my blood work done pretty religiously. And I know I'm trying to be as healthy as possible as well. So he's very, very lucky. He
knows you've got a good head on your shoulders then.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, with the growth of the business this past year as well, I don't think he was anticipating how well the business has done sort of since I left my previous job, which I worked in warehouses for my whole life. I've just loved that. Here's a list, work for it, and I'll work through that list. I love those kind of jobs. And I worked for Asda for a long time. I loved that job. It was like in a big fridge where you just kind of stock stuff, get them ready to send out, and I love that job. And then when I came to obviously turning pro and being more kind of in that scene, I couldn't do that job alongside prepping because it was just obviously being in a fridge, doing like 30,000+ steps a day. I think I wore a weighted vest doing those steps underneath my like fridge jacket and stuff, and just sort of ticked it off. And Tom was like, we can't do that anymore because my legs would just piss away. So in the end, he obviously offered me that coaching role, and I left and became self-employed, and that was 2 years ago. And I'm very, very blessed in the fact that I have the clients I do, the people that trust me. A lot of my clients have been with me since I started. So my client Penny Pickin, who everyone would see on sort of Instagram, she's been with me from the very beginning, and we've again grown very, very well. And it's having those clients that are very retentive and do stay alongside you for the journey. Like I'm very, very blessed in regards to that, and the business has just blossomed, and it's just been amazing because I can be a professional athlete and support other people in their endeavours. And 2 years, and I think my dad was a bit like, oh shit, you're actually serious about what you're doing? And I was like, of course I am. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's been a whirlwind. Like since 2021 is when I turned pro, and it's just been a whirlwind since. And
really. There's going to be many more of them years to come, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
That comes down to your coaching though as well. I know you said you're blessed that people have stayed with you for 2 years, but that just comes down to you as a person, morally, how you handled your clients, etc. And not only that, but also like walking the walk. You're not just obviously there's coaches out there that don't compete, don't actually bodybuild on any serious level, which are great coaches, but I think when you can show that you're doing it, which obviously you are at the highest level, that goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, some of the greatest coaches out there haven't really stood on stage, but I'm a firm believer that having that ability to be someone that they can look up to and be like, okay, so she's done it. She knows exactly what. So why are you putting me on 20,000 steps a day? Because you need to be on it, and I've done it. I know exactly how that feels.
And I think it's a time thing as well. So with yourself, obviously, so new in going self-employed with coaching, like the first 2 years, and still active. I think you need to show that you're doing it. Like once you're established, and then you can kind of take a step back. And like if you don't compete, it doesn't really matter because you've established yourself. But it's like you're not going to give a client anything that you wouldn't do yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think as well, like not being big-headed, but a lot of my clients see me as a role model, and I feel that I should carry this level of, okay, I've done this is how I look on stage, like, and I've applied these X, Y, and Zs to my mentality to get there, and that you are also capable of that. You are capable of what I've achieved as well. You can obviously depend on their goals, etc. But being a role model to people and think, actually, she's gone through hardships, but she's come out the other side. I want to be like that. And that's how I like to be to other people. Again, that's why I'm so open about things, because a lot of people look up to that. And I have a lot, again, positive messages about, oh, so you're doing this. Okay, so can I have your opinion on this? Of course you can. Like, anyone can message me and ask for opinions and things like that, because I want to help people.
Yeah.
And again, being that role model, I want to sort of give out my experience. Obviously, I've only been in the game for a short amount of time considered to other, obviously, pros and things, but you know, if I can help someone, then I'd much rather help them and see them blossom and grow and be that role model, and then just see how things go from there. And the more I can impact the sport, the more I can sort of develop and grow and become, like, win my first pro show. Like, people have seen that I've done that, and they're going to be more inclined to be like, okay, she's done that, she knows what she's doing, I want to be like that, so let's jump on board. So yeah, like, I pride myself in being a role model to a lot of people.
Just like you've learnt off Tom, though. You know,
Absolutely,
Tom is your role model to a certain degree, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you take that down the ladder, you know.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I kind of like that as well with Cal. What I'm taking off Cal, because I do a little bit of coaching, not on a massive scale.
Yeah.
But just what Cal does for me.
Absolutely.
I try and put that onto my clients as well.
And I think it's really important to have a coach that you can learn from.
Yeah.
I think some or certain coaches, obviously not pointing any fingers or anything, but some coaches.
Go on, point fingers. Say some names so I can clickbait it.
Some coaches are very closed off to questions. So if I said to Tom, why are we running this? Okay, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so why are we doing that? X, Y, and Z. It not only helps me learn, but I think it's really important to ask questions, because it helps, again, you learn, but also understand the process of why we're doing X, Y, and Z. And I think that's the beauty of Callum, Tom, because I said to Callum, like, why is this movement benefiting me instead of X, Y, and Z? And he'll be like, okay, this is why. Same with Tom with my food and my drugs and things like that. So yeah, I think being open, having that ability to talk and ask questions and get a response from a coach is really important. And plus as well, a coach should be adaptable. So again, talking through things, and you should never be like, shit, I don't know how to answer this question. Like, I'm like, quick, like, you should answer that. You should be able to answer that question and be able to give people an insight into those sort of questions they're asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tom has been that person, and I am that person with my clients, and Callum is with you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, very, very, very good to have that sort of mentorship with Tom and learn from things from Tom. Absolutely.
So with regards to mentors, sometimes a lot of people will have a training partner or something like that that they're also looking up to, or they've got someone that's pushing them in the gym, etc. I've always seen you on your own in there.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone in like your corner in terms of like a training partner?
No, not really. I had Conor McMillan for a long time. I turned pro with Conor. He was my training coach, and he didn't train alongside me, but he trained me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've had Licia and stuff like that. But when I'm on my own, I'm on my own. Which can prove to be quite a problem when I'm having to move the weights I am as a little human being.
Yeah.
So again, another reason why being at the shed is good, because there's always someone to spot me. But recently, when she can, I train with my partner.
Yeah, okay.
I just, especially when it comes to legs, I like to have someone else there. But I've solely only really trained on my own. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm always open to having a training partner. But if I want to train at 12 p.m, I'm going to be training, and whether you're there or not, I don't care. Like, I will start. So yeah, I've always really trained on my own. And then when my missus can, she'll pop in, because again, my missus is a coach herself. She works in football. So and she works with a lot of young adults, a lot of young uns as well. And her understanding of my psychology is bang on, because psychology is like her thing. And again, she's seen me from my worst to my best.
Yeah.
And she's seen me from amateur to pro. And she could probably peak me as well as Tom can, because she knows exactly how the process goes. And her and Tom are really, really close as well, which is really nice. So again, it's part of that little tight-knit community that I've got. So she comes in and trains, and she knows when I need to pull off. When I'm being a bitch, she'll be like, sorry, you're being a bitch, sort it out. So when I can train with her, I'll be training with her. But when I don't, I'm on my own normally. But yeah, I mean, I would love to train with James. I'd love to train with you. Obviously, we're training together anyway today. But again, that's the opportunities that are here, of being able to be like, hey, James, can I jump in?
There's going to be endless opportunities in there to train with people.
Exactly, yeah. So,
so when, looking forward then, when is the next, like, prep? How long are we kind of off season? Or?
Yeah, so timelines really are off season until most likely February, I can imagine. Like, I've just started a cycle, so sort of 8 to 12 week cycle now, and then a holding phase, and then prep probably about February, March time, because I want to do New York. That's the first show on my radar. And then I'd like to do Pittsburgh, and then maybe a European or Vancouver. because I want to get 3 shows under my belt. Obviously, dependent if I qualify for the 𝘗 at New York, then obviously we'll pull the plug and go for the 𝘗.
Yeah.
But it's really dependent. Again, like when it's my time, it's my time. But really, I have a long-term goal to be within the top 10 of the 𝘗 within the next 3 to 5 years.
I love that.
So, you know, even like top 5 for the next 5 years, like that'll be my plan of action, because I'll be 32, 33 by that time, which is just about the prime time for bodybuilding. And this is the thing.
Yeah, cheers for saying that. Cheers for saying that when I'm well past that.
So yeah, and I think, you know, again, this is something that I need to remember is these women stepping on stage 36 plus. I mean, I think there was a women's bodybuilder that was 61 on the weekend, you know.
Wow.
And I've competed against women who are in their 60s as well. So, I mean, these are women that are just always lean, just pop up to a show on the weekend, like, just do it, you know what I mean?
Jump in.
So they've got like 20 plus years on me, so time is very much on my side when it comes to things like this.
Yeah.
And if for some reason by the time I start prep I don't think I'm good enough, then I won't step on stage, because, you know, I've again had the same feedback, you know, year on year, and I think this is why I took a year out, because, you know, especially Mannion and Bill, who judged me at Alicante, posterior, back needs to come up, glutes, hams, legs, just everything, and I was like, something needs to change here, because I kept getting that feedback consistently. I seemed something needs to change here, hence why I changed my training around, hence why I've moved obviously gyms and things like that. And, you know, if I see myself next year and think I'm not good enough, then I won't step on stage, because I want to step on stage and be like, first place is mine.
Yeah.
I don't want any, Sara Bradley looks a little bit, I want to be like, what the fuck did she do?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want to step on stage other than that. And that is very much
Love that.
firm.
Like undeniable, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I don't want anyone to be like, she could be second, I want to be, she's first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because when I remember standing like to the side of the stage at Alicante, and obviously called the first 2, and I was like, you know, that sinking feeling.
Yeah.
You're like standing there trying to smile, and you're like, oh, I get that.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah. And I'm not having that happen again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the competitive side of me is, again, like, you know, I don't go to be like, I'm fucking first place, like, but I'll go and be like, I want to win.
Yeah.
Because the Olympia has been a dream for years. And that for me would be amazing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to be last call out outside. I'm going to be second call out into first call out. Second call out for me, first time 𝘗. I'd be happy with that, centre stage. But we're going for that top spot. And I don't care how long it takes me, I'll get there. And I can almost guarantee that will happen. And that's something that's been very much, even more so ingrained in me recently is, you know, I think we all have confidence issues when it comes to seeing ourselves. Like, everyone said, oh, you're big. I'm like, I'm still tiny. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I still need to work on things.
Yeah.
Which can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. I think a lot of people, you're hungry for it. I think it's really good to be hungry for it. Sometimes it can be, you know, sometimes I'm so hungry that it actually kind of pushes me back and it kind of causes more stress than good, especially during prep.
Yeah.
But for me, like, over the past few years, and I think once I win that pro show, I'll be like, yeah, it's game on.
That's going to kind of instill it that
Exactly.
I'm where I need to be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of pros get that. I think even speaking with James, I think when he said, maybe on a podcast at one point, he was like, I think once I won that first pro show, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And I think that's what I need. I think, and I don't care how long it will take me to get there, but I want to win a good show. Like, I won't do smaller shows. I don't want to do smaller shows. I want to be up against the best. Like in Texas, I was up against 2 top 5 Olympians, and I pushed them. And that for me is like, okay, if I can push these girls, how would I stand against others? Like 𝘗𝘰𝘰𝘯𝘴𝘰𝘵, I think her name is, she's top 5. And I was there pushing her for that top spot, not for top spot, for top 4, and we were moving around and things. And if I know that I can push her, then I know that maybe I can push other Olympians. And that's why I want to do New York. That's why I want to do Pittsburgh. Because once you're established winning New York Pro, I think it's really, really cool to be like, she's won New York Pro, she's not fucking around.
Yeah.
So for me, like,
that's a fucking cool show to win as
exactly,
well, isn't it?
yeah. That's why I want to
ring.
do it. And then like Pittsburgh is a really cool show as well. And don't get me wrong, we may have to like put in, and I say smaller shows, they're still hard shows.
Of course,
but, like,
yeah.
Normally with the American goes, they don't typically come over to Europe, they stay in America. And I think just the level of bodybuilding over in America is amazing. It's where us bigger girls need to be, in my opinion, because when I rocked up, like, you were literally treated like a professional athlete, whereas someone in the street sees you walking around with big shoulders and they think, oh, is that a female or male? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like, that's kind of the plan of action going forward, is to New York, Pittsburgh, Vancouver, maybe see where it takes us, because I would like to ideally qualify early, come out and then go back in and see how we stand there. But again, if I'm not ready, I won't take that plunge, and we'll just maybe go later down the line, because I don't really like the idea, because I think that bridge between shows is the hardest. I think between Texas and Alicante had 4 weeks and it was just hell.
Yeah.
It's horrible, isn't it? Because you have that initial buzz the first show and then you're like, oh, It's just like, yeah. So yeah, I'd like to come out and then go back in, and I think that's what Tom would like to do as well. So yeah, so we'll just see how it is.
Hit it on the first run.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be the plan.
That'll be cool. What, in terms of your training, you said obviously you did like powerlifting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously Carl's doing your training now.
Yeah.
Lisa did a bit of your training previously.
Yeah.
But that wasn't every day, was it?
No, so that was twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, was your training very like instinctive?
Yes, absolutely. Like this just now, and obviously outside of Leisha as well, is every day was different. Like now, I'm one of those people that every session is the same. Same with Alicia. And obviously it was slightly different when we did leg training together, because that was just sort of based on the feedback that like the injuries that we needed to fix.
Yeah.
But every day I'd go in and it'd be different. So I wasn't, and it's always been the same. Like I used to logbook, and then I kind of came out of it and was very much like, I'll just go off how I'm feeling. And then with Lisa, it was logbook, and now even more so with Callum is the logbook. And everyone that's messaged me has been like, I'm
Lisa
very
did
anti-logbook. Yeah.
Did she? Lisa did logbook.
Well, she gave me like a program, and obviously I've just followed the sessions, so I kind of knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't write it down, but now with Callum's, it's very
by the book.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what's installed like this other level of, okay, this is serious now. Like not like I didn't take my training serious before, but I would go in and be like,
yeah, you obviously
what
did.
am I feeling?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that was really evident with Connor. So Connor I was with Connor all the time, and I would just do what he said basically, and every session was different. Whereas Leisha, it was like sessions were sometimes different based on what we needed to do in that session, but she gave me a plan and I followed it. Even then, sometimes it was like, okay, that's not working today, I'm going to move it around.
Switch
like,
around,
yeah, absolutely. Whereas with Callum, it's very regimented, and if I need to move something around, I will communicate with him. Absolutely.
What gym is Connor based out of?
Connor's based out of Sups, so yeah, so Sups and Leicester-super-Mare.
That's where I knew the name.
Yeah.
And I knew kind of which area you were from, and I think I remember meeting him. I did a shoot for Sups back
Yes, you did.
ago.
Yes, you did. Yeah, because you did like a promo
video for them. Absolutely. Yeah, so I think I bumped into him down there. So.
Yeah, big bald guy.
Yeah, he was training some clients that day down
absolutely.
there. So
yeah. And again, Connor was a massive part of my beginning journey, really. You know, he turned me pro, and he was a massive part of my journey because we clicked very well. I mean, Connor, he's had a backstory, and we just gel very, very well. He could watch me walk through a door and know exactly how the session's going to go, just based on my
based on other.
Yeah, exactly. And I would travel every day from here to Sups, which is about an hour and 15.
Every day.
Every day, yeah, because I needed him.
For how long?
For about an hour, and then I drive home.
For how many years? Like
for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Hour and 15
Absolutely.
each way.
Yeah.
Those are kind of magic eye miles.
Yeah, but and he's I've not got a bad word about him. He was a big part of my life for a long time.
But saying that, you also trained with Lisa, which is probably about the same time from here to there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I will travel if I know it's going to get me that one step closer.
How long were you training in Wales?
So probably about 6 months.
6 months there, and how long with Connor?
4 years.
So 4.5 years of travelling probably an hour to an hour and a half each way. How does it feel to just be driving down the road?
Oh, it's mad. I have so much more time in the day, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and that's again something that I had to think about really, what am I doing with my time wisely? Like I said, I will travel anywhere, but I think with the growth of the business and, something like, because I always wanted a gym like this on my doorstep, but there never was an opportunity for it.
Yeah.
And then since this popped up, it's again crunching numbers and being like, okay, so I could save a little bit more money here, put it into X, Y, and Z, and it's just but I don't. I will travel anywhere to train.
Of course,
something like this, and
if this is on your doorstep,
exactly.
That's very jealous, very jealous.
Yeah, but Connor was amazing. He really,
big ups to Connor.
Yeah, his ability to grow a physique is undeniable. He's very, very skilled with that. He will, some of my hardest sessions have been with him, just from the ability. It's come back around to a coach knowing an athlete and the ability to push an athlete. And we were very much on the same kind of page, and he understood me. And he is, not a bad word in my body to
Do you still, are you still in touch now? Do you still
very briefly? Yeah, he's just so busy. Do you know what I mean? Like his business has grown tenfold as well. I mean, I was one of his first clients, and then seeing his business really develop, and that's what I love to see is just him growing. And he is someone that would never say no. So he's like drowning in clients, but he's just kind of just above water. Just do you know what I mean? So so when we stay in touch, we stay in touch. But when we don't, you know. But I think the best friend is like that though. Sometimes you can not talk for months. And then pick it up.
You just pick up where you left off 6 months, 12 months later. Yeah. We had a couple of things come through on the Insta.
Oh, absolutely.
We've probably kind of glazed over them already with the chat. This one is quite cool.
Okay.
What shaped your career?
Shaped my career.
Yeah. Up to this point, obviously.
Is that like what we spoke about earlier? Kind of like.
I guess so. Yeah. Would you say that's probably the main thing that's kind of shaped your career to where you're at now, or
I would say,
is there any other people that maybe? Well, you said like obviously everything that went on personally for you kind of had a big part to play.
Yeah.
I guess idols was Dana Lynn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember like evenings, and everyone who's a Dana Lynn Bailey fan can sort of agree with this. Is evenings watching her like Arnold prep. I think, some of those videos are so raw, and that is I wanted that, and I think like I said earlier, I think just seeing people like that and seeing her win. Obviously, she was the first Miss Olympia, for women's physique, and seeing that was something that kind of pushed me to where I knew where I wanted to go. But again, I think it's just life events that have really shaped who I am today. And again, like what I said is like I think everything happens for a reason, and I think that's what happened has happened. And it's accepted. Like my mentality is very different. I'm very much like, again, when it comes to death and things, it's happened. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't sit and dwell. We can celebrate their life, because my mother was an amazing, amazing human being. She was very forgiving. She gave a lot to people, and that is something that should be celebrated. It fucking sucks, but it happened. There's nothing I can do about it. We've just got to move on. And that's something that I've learned through counselling, through talking, through therapy, and things like that. And again, you can even apply that to little things like, oh, sorry, I cheated on my diet. It's happened. There's nothing we can do about it. Get back on track and smash next week. There's always like a positive reinforcement. And like for me, and I do this with my clients a lot of the time, silver linings. There's a silver lining in fucking everything, right? So exactly, like mum's died, right? Yeah, that sucks. But she's an amazing woman. She was an amazing woman. And that is a silver lining. There's no point sitting and dwelling. Like celebrate their life. Oh, sorry, I had a really shit day at work, and the session I went to the gym was shit. Still went to the gym. You still got that session done. You could have gone home and given up, but you didn't. That's a silver lining. I think that's like a big takeaway. Is there's always positivity out of any situation, no matter what it is. And that's something that's I've sort of learned over the years. Is I placed like third at a show or fourth at a show. Okay, that's shit, but we go again. Like, you know that feeling. We go again. There's more we can do. You need to fix this. Okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z to fix it. Let's create a game plan. Yeah. And that is probably my biggest shift in, my mindset. Yeah, it's like some days we really have bad days, but we still got to go through the motions. And that going through the motions will bring you more pride than giving up. And I say that to people like, you want to have that, but 5 minutes is just, and then after you're going to feel so much guilt, you're going to feel horrible. But if you didn't, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. So that's something that has really shaped my career, is my mentality.
Your mentality,
Absolutely.
Love that. Love it. Okay. I think we've glazed over these. I'm going to ask them anyway, just out of respect for the people that have asked them. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Top 5 of the Olympia. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, so that's like professionally, I guess. Yeah. Well, you got 2 professions, coach as well. Yeah. Where you see your coaching?
I would like to be sort of obviously a bigger clientele of clients, but I really want to dive into competitive clientele, more physique figure and women's bodybuilding, because I love obviously every aspect of coaching, but I want that to be my niche, like Tom's is with bigger guys, bigger girls, that kind of thing. And I just love that. That's very much my baby. And I work with, again, a lot of lovely people, and I work with women's physique, figure, bikini, but my niche and my real true goal is to get to working with professional women's physique and things like that. I think that would be amazing.
That's just going to add to what we talked about earlier as well, in terms of bringing that up as well, bringing that division up. And
I would like to just grow the business, and just make sure that I'm supporting myself through through my preps and through traveling, because traveling's not cheap, and you know that yourself as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that we're, I've got funds that are going through that. I'm obviously looking to buy a house as well. So like personal little like.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your personal kind of ambition for the next 5 years then?
Get a house, get a dog, because my missus loves dogs. So we have a cat,
get a house,
she's like,
get a dog.
dog. Yeah. And I would like to see my obviously partner flourish as well. Obviously, as a female coach in a very male-dominated sport, she's a goalkeeper coach as well, so it is even less of her. I'd like to put her through her like qualifications and support her through that, because she's given me 90% of her life, and that's again another reason why I had a year out, is because I need to give something back to her. Because she will. I mean, I'm not someone that's horrendous on prep. I can just get a bit snappy. Do you know what I mean?
You all say that.
Yeah,
we're fucking nightmares.
Yeah, not bad. And I want to give back to her in some way. She deserves that. So yeah, see her blossom a little bit more, because my missus is almost 30. She's 30 this year, I believe. So
I believe. Better get that right.
Yeah, mate.
Sorry about that.
I'll just make sure she doesn't watch this. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't watch it. It was shit.
Yeah. So yeah, and just see her really blossom in her business and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of like, because we looked at a house yesterday, so hopefully that's the ball rolling there, so that's almost ticked off. Yeah. So those would be my main personal ones. It's just become more of an adult, isn't it? Yeah. Adult seems boring, but we got
welcome to adulthood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Said in the Welsh accent, I can probably do.
But yeah, that's kind of personal goals and goals.
That's sick. Yeah, it's good. What was that other question there? What's your main drive in this sport and why?
Main drive in this sport? Ooh. Obviously, main drive is the O.
Yeah.
But also, I think my main driving factor is seeing my body change. I think when I look back to when I started to now, you think, shit, like, actually I've made a difference to my physique. Even though you may feel like that first photo, whatever, like 4 or 5, whatever years ago.
Yeah.
But seeing my body change and knowing that everything that I do every day makes a difference to tomorrow, and then tomorrow, the next day, that is my driving factor. Especially in off-season, it's off-season, isn't it? Like, you don't really see much happening until you get down to stage lean. And during prep, the best part of prep is seeing those daily changes. Like, that is so much fun. Yeah, you might be dying, but like seeing a few more lines here and there, being like, so I remember looking at some photos last year and being like, holy shit, is that me? Like, that is so much fun. And yeah, it is just my main, and obviously doing people proud. I am a people pleaser. I love to see people really, really blossom, and I really just want to do Tom proud. I want to do my other half proud, my family proud. Like, that for me, I get a lot of joy out of seeing people really kind of succeed, and I want to see them and have them be a part of my success as well. Yeah. So that is also a driving factor, is the people around me. I want to do them proud, especially. I mean, if I tell Tom, if Tom had £1 for every time I said I want to do you proud in a prep, he'd probably be a very rich man. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that just means so much. Like, because I want to give so much back to the people that give me so much. You know what I mean? And that for me is a massive driving factor, is to make the people around me proud. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What better reason?
Exactly.
Better reason.
Exactly, yeah.
Last one, which is like kind of candid to put on the end of this then. Favorite kind of music and films that you like to listen to and watch?
Oh, so music that I like to listen to. So everyone knows Sleep Token. I'm obsessed with Sleep Token at the moment. Have you heard them?
Nope. Yep. Gone straight over my head, that have.
Need to listen.
Should we just cancel this?
Yeah, that's it. Sleep Token, so they're kind of like a bit of sort of metal kind of band. I'm really into metal when I train.
Metal, yeah.
Yeah, so like Slipknot, Sleep Token. But then equally, one day I can be listening to like Taylor Swift or something. It completely depends. But at the moment it's been kind of more like metal stuff. And even when I'm not training, I listen to kind of like heavier things.
Yeah, yeah.
Films, I'm a horror girl. I love horror, I love thriller. The Conjuring series I'm super into. Anything that will keep me on the edge of my seat, I'm into. Anything that doesn't, then I'm like, nah.
Switch it off.
Yeah, like we've just finished watching the Alien series, like the original Alien, and that is just one hell of
classics.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that for me is my jam. Yeah, I love things like that.
Do you, when you're prepping, do you kind of watch TV shows, or can't you concentrate?
I can't do it. I tried to work my way through all the Marvels because my missus is a Marvel fan. I wanted to try and support her when she's talking about it. Yeah. I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. No.
It's like, you think it's the perfect time to like get into something.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
Mind you, I can read a lot in prep. I go through books all the time. So obviously we all know that sleep becomes basically non-existent. When I used to wake up literally at 12 o'clock on the dot, midnight, wake up and do 3 hours of reading and then go back to bed. And that for me is just, I can just read.
What, 12 p.m. till 12 a.m. till 3 a.m.
till 3 a.m. Yeah. So, and that on the clock every night, it would be like that. I'll get up, read, go to bed. And that's when I would normally wake up. So when I worked at Asda, so it may have been a little bit earlier actually. So maybe like 12 until like maybe 1:30, 2-ish. And when I worked at Asda, I had to get up at 4 to start my shift at 6. And obviously that's in Bristol. So that's about half an hour, 40 minutes away. So I would get up at 12, read for maybe an hour, hour and a half, go back to bed, then be up at 4. And if I had to check in with Tom, then I have to be up a little bit earlier so I could do my check-in. So yeah, and it's just, and that's just prepping it. But yeah reading, I will read for forever on prep.
Reading's your thing.
Apart from, I just can't do films. I can't play video games. Like my New Year's resolution was to finish a video game this year. Can't do it. No. I get stuck. I'm like, right, fuck it.
Fuck it. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Pass me a book.
Yeah. Whereas my missus can like bosh through them. I think that's so impressive to sit down and just be like for forever.
I'm trying to get into them.
Just can't do it. I just can't.
I really want to play. I really want to get a game.
Yeah.
And go at it.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to find time somewhere. So somebody's got to give.
Yeah. I can go into the gym and lift X, Y, and Z, but I can't fucking play a game.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah.
On that note, before this timer runs out, because we've got like 6 minutes left on that one.
That's cool.
Speaking of gym, we're going to go train.
Absolutely.
In about an hour-ish. But that's pretty much it, I'd say. Did you want to thank anyone, any sponsors or?
Yeah, well, obviously, like JP for taking me on board, Jordan, Corin, and obviously being so welcomed at the shed.
Yeah.
Said at the beginning of the podcast, it's very one door closes, another one opens. So yeah, massive thank you for JP and Corin for offering me this opportunity.
Yeah.
And obviously just Tom and Callum and my other half and everyone that supports me. I think that for me is really something that's very sort of held very close to me. And yeah, just having the people that support me around and being given these opportunities, because I wouldn't be where I am today without the opportunities that have arisen. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. And obviously thank you to you for letting me on the podcast.
Don't worry about me.
No, it's an honour to be able to speak about.
Oh, it's cool to get you on. I've wanted to get you on. And to be honest, before that time alarm goes off, people have been asking for me to get more females on here. So
Absolutely.
I think, what's her name? Joy Flint in Australia.
Nice.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes, Joy.
There's a female on you now, so I promise I'll try my best to get more on. But no, thank you for your time. Well done with everything. Look forward to seeing the continual growth.
Yeah.
More closer, I guess, because we're on the same team now as well.
Absolutely.
And shout outs to Jordan and Corin as well once again for everything, pretty much. And we'll leave it at that. So Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Please like, comment, subscribe. Look out for the next episode. There'll be more coming now because I'm in the UK for more than 1 week at a time. And we'll see you then. Peace.